Bladesmiths, welcome to the Forge. We found some springs for you guys to use to make signature blades in your signature style. Good luck, your 3 hour starts now.
I decided to try canister Damascus. Some people use whiteout to create kind of a wall between the canister and the inside materials, but I decided to try using a different method.
Zane has actually heated up his can right away, which seems weird because isn't there gonna be forge scale all inside of that can?
I just let it oxidize a little bit and kind of form a layer on the inside, and hopefully that will keep the insides from sticking to the canister.
I'm happy with springs. I don't have to tear anything apart. I'm going with the 3 smaller springs because there's less to mess with and easier to fit in the can. It's important to be working efficiently, keep it simple. Once I get the springs cut down to size, I throw them in the can, packing it full of 1095 powder.
We've got Chris at the welding station. He will be the first of our smiths to be welded up and into the fire.
I've made several knives out of old car springs and stuff. I don't think it's gonna be all that crazy. A knife's a knife. I'm gonna take the largest spring, cut it into 3 sections, straighten them all out, clean them up, take the other 2 springs, smaller springs, and wrap them around each other, and forge weld them all together around the main billet.
I got my weld set on the press. Now I'm ready to draw my can out into more of a billet shape. I decide to leave my canister on and hope that the forge scale that I built up earlier is not an interference.
Once I start pressing my canister, I know things are welding because once it starts consolidating, it almost hardens up.
Now, Chris actually took his canister to Big Blue.
My concern is he went 1 pass on the press and then to the hammer, and we've seen that cause cracking in billets before. Hot metal. Here we go.
Oh, this is gonna be nice. Here we go. It's got a snake-like coil, like a hot boa constrictor.
And you can see it moving.
I got all the welds starting to set. Almost one homogeneous piece of steel. So now I gotta turn this thing into a knife.
Rocky just squinched.
It's good and straight. The edge should be really hard. Go back to the grinder and get this thing cleaned up. Up to the judges now.
I got the basic shape to my blade, and I decided to grind away as much of this mild steel can to reveal the pattern underneath. I have 15 minutes left on the clock. I'm ready to quench. It's fairly straight. I think it's okay.
So I get my blade nice and hot, and now it is ready to be dunked in the oil.
Doug, how does Zane's blade look?
It's refined. Looks pretty good.
My edge is hard. I don't know about the rest of my blade, but hopefully that's all it'll take for me to pass.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Bladesmiths, shut down your machines, drop your tools. This first round of competition is over.
Bladesmiths, welcome to our strength test. The oil barrel, stab, and chop. To test the tip, edge, and overall construction of your weapons, I'm going to take your blades and repeatedly and mercilessly chop and beat into these oil drums. And Chris, you're up first. How you feeling?
Okay.
All right, let's do it. We're not done yet. All right, Chris, everything's tight. You lost the slightest bit of your tip. And on your edge, the only thing that's missing is the edge. Very good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Zane, after seeing that, how do you feel?
A little bit nervous, but excited to see what happens.
So am I. Good job, Zane. For the batoning, it was difficult because you've got a drop here, so a couple times I'd hit and glance. but when it went through, it punctured down good distance. This is one of the reasons I'm wearing a glove. Blowing through that pocket, this will tear your finger up. But your tip and edge held up fine. Good job.
Thank you, Judge.
Rocky, how you feeling?
Nervous.
That's all right. I'll be calm for both of us. Rocky, your tip held up fine, and your edge held up fine. The handle, a little on the square side, and your pommel separated. That's a bit of an issue. But overall, your blade survived. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, Bladesmiths, to find out how sharp your edges are, the leather vest, stab and slice. Chris, you're up first. You ready for this?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, Chris, let's talk about your blade here. And it's not very sharp. When you're slashing, the sheer weight of your blade here does cut it, but doesn't lacerate it nicely. But overall, sir, for this test, it'll cut.
Thank you, sir.
Right, Zane, you're up. Ready?
Yes, sir.
Let's do this. All right, Zane, let's talk about your blade here. The grinds that you have on this edge are sharp, so it's able to cut the leather. Now, stabbing, your point does penetrate deeper in, all the way through there. The one issue I had here is the guard. The angle that you have of your curve there actually drives my hand to go forward, as opposed to holds me back from going any deeper than that. But overall, sir, it'll cut.
Thank you, Doug.
And then there was one. Are you ready, Rocky?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. All right, Rocky, let's talk about your weapon right here. Your pommel was already loose before we started. It didn't get any worse. The edge, by slashing with the tip, it did cut on one side of the vest cleanly. On the other side, it just ripped it. The edges right here are not as sharp as I would have expected it to be. But overall, sir, for this test, it will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Bladesmiths, I've finished my conference with the judges, and they agreed that none of your blades are perfect. Each of them has flaws. Unfortunately, Rocky, your pommel came loose during the strength test, and let's just face it, most of your finer knives don't have any moving parts. For that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
So I'm feeling a little disappointed, but I represented myself well.
Thank you.
I've learned a lot about myself. Should have been better. That's amazing what this box would do to you. I'm only going to stop bladesmithing like it's getting too old to pick up that hammer to work with it.
Zane, Chris, congratulations. You boys have made it into the final round of this competition. Now we're sending you back to your home forge just to recreate an iconic weapon from history. That weapon is the Revolutionary War Sergeant Spontoon. Good luck. We'll see you in 4 days.
We're back in Waxhaw, and I have to make a Sergeant Spontoon. There we go. I decided to use 5160 for the blade steel because it is relatively easy to heat treat, but also holds up very well when under duress. My main goal is to elongate this piece of steel that will eventually become the blade so that it meets the requirements. Yeah, it's a slow press, but it's okay.
I'm back in my home forge. I'm ready to get started. I'm excited. I'm gonna build a Damascus billet. I'm gonna try to get as many layers as I can. I think it'll impress the judges and hopefully hold up really well in the tests. I got my main billet cleaned up. I'm gonna cut it and restack it, get it to the size I need, and then I can hopefully start getting the point shaped out.
Day 2, I'm going to be working on the socket, getting that more fit and finished. I'm also going to grind and hopefully heat treat my blade. For the heat treat, I'm going to be using this oven right here. It works really well with temperature control. I can keep my blade exactly the temperature that I want it for how long I want it. I am nervous that my heat treat is not going to go well. I could have the blade snap, I could have it warp, I could have it just not harden at all. I don't hear any tinking sounds, so that's good. Tinks are usually cracks. And it's hard, and I am so excited. Woo! That was scary.
Yesterday, I got the crossguard and the spear to shape. The crossguard being a separate piece is a concern of mine. I am gonna have to forge weld that for structural integrity reasons. Probably gonna get into some welding with the MIG welder just to reinforce everything. And hopefully after that, get it ready for a heat treat.
Day 3 is here. I plan on finishing up my blade, and then I am going to weld my tang and my guard to my socket. That's pretty good.
It's day 4 on my Spontoon build. The first thing I gotta do today is get the haft cut out and shaped down. I layered the wood up. Hopefully the difference in grain structure will help in strengthness and flexibility. I left it sort of octagonal. I think it'll give a little better grip. Now it's time to get my haft attached to my Spontoon spearhead. It was a hell of a build. I'm tired, I'm sore. I think it looks awesome. I cut one, I'm good.
All right, Bladesmiths, welcome to the Keal test. I will take your weapon, deliver some thrusts and slashes on this wild boar carcass. Zane, you're up first. You ready for this?
Ready as I'll ever be.
All right, Zane, let's talk about your weapon here. First up, your tip is really made to thrust. It punctures really deep when I'm thrusting with it, but I can move with this weapon. You have a good bounce here. The edge here is sharp. As you can see, those are very, very deep, sharp cuts. Overall, sir, your weapon will kill.
Thank you, Doug.
All right, Chris, it's your turn. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right, Chris, let's talk about your weapon here. What I love about this is when you're thrusting, I can feel the weight in front and crunch ribs as it's penetrating. Overall, sir, your weapon will kill.
Thank you, sir.
All right, gentlemen, say hello to my little friend. To test the strength and durability of your blades, we're going to be firing them out of our air cannon here into that wooden wall. All right, Zane, you're up first.
This thing is gonna launch my Spontoon, my baby, at a wall of wood. I'm an odd mixture between excited and nervous right now.
In 3, 2, 1, fire. All right, Zane. Nothing came apart. It still has the edge that it started out with. All in all, good job.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, you're up. Firing in 3, 2, 1, fire. Good job, Chris. Okay, your weapon went right in between those boards, so it actually took all the impact up here on these lugs. Everything's still straight, still sharp. I really like that pattern you've got on there. Nicely done.
Thank you.
It's nice.
All right, Bladesmiths, welcome to the sharpness test, the redcoat stab and slice. To test the sharpness of your edge, I will take your weapon and slash and stab across this redcoat. Zane, you're up first. Let's do it. All right, Zane, your edges are sharp. On the swing of that, it does cut, but what I do find here, there's a little bit of a glinting at your tip. It catches on my nail, so it rolled a little bit right there at your tip. But otherwise, sir, it will cut.
Thank you.
All right, Chris, your turn. Let's do this.
Things have actually been really even between Zane and I. I just hope that my Spontoon, it's strong and sharp enough. This is it.
All right, Chris, this is a very razor-sharp blade. Every slash and thrust was a deep cut. I do not see any damage to your edge. Overall, sir, this weapon will cut.
Thank you.
Zane, Chris, you guys have done fantastic work on these finale weapons, but there can only be one Forged in Fire champion. The judges have made their final decision, and that Forged in Fire champion is... Chris, congratulations. You are the new Forged in Fire champion.
Congratulations, man.
Zane, unfortunately, your weapon took some damage during the sharpness test, which affected the efficacy of your cuts. For that reason, I'd like to invite you to shake my hand, shake your judge's hand, and then please leave the forge. Come on, my friend.
Meet you guys.
Good job, brother.
I did not win, but that's okay.
It's a great weapon.
I came here to prove that I was able to compete with some of the big dogs, and I think I've made my point. I hope that I'll be able to keep improving upon my craft and just get better and better.
Chris, you crafted a better weapon that held up through the tests. Congratulations, you are the Forged in Fire champion, and that's a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job, brother. Come over here and shake our hands.
Absolutely. I just became Forged in Fire champion. That's crazy. I'm like turning inside out right now. I got the bragging rights, man. I can just keep moving ahead, keep doing what I'm doing.
Billy, Robert, congratulations. You've made it to the final round of this competition. Now, we're sending you back to your home forges to recreate an iconic weapon that helped win World War II. The Scottish Backsword. Good luck, Bladesmiths. We'll see you in 4 days.
So it's day one, and I'm gonna get started on my Scottish Backsword. So right now I'm just cleaning off my steel, just to make sure that I get a good, clean forge weld. I don't have the steel that's a proper thickness, so I'm gonna be forge welding 3 pieces of 1080 steel together. I'm doing it all by hand, so it's gonna take a little bit longer.
So I'm making a Scottish backsword. I'm gonna try to make it as historically accurate as I possibly can. Let's make it hot. Day one is making the Damascus, forging the blade, and then quench. Woo, boy! There's a risk that the Damascus will blow apart, and if it messes up, I won't have time to start again. Forge welding Damascus is always a risky thing, but it'll make the blade far more aesthetically pleasing, which will hopefully give me a boost in this competition. Things are okay. I've got my blade forged to shape. I'm ready to go in the quench. I can't believe I got this much done in one day. I think that might have been a successful quench. Coming out. Ha ha ha.
So today, I have a little bit of grinding left to establish my bevels, and then the plan after that is heat treat. Once I come right out of the quench, lay the sword down here, clamp everything down tight, and hopefully if there is any warp, it straightens it out as the blade is cooling. If things go wrong here, I could possibly have to start over. I have to nail it and get it right the first time. All right, here we go. I saw some good color when it come out of the quench. The blade looked fairly straight. I didn't hear any tinks or cracks or anything happen, so I think we're good.
My plan for today is to make the basket hilt. It's easily the toughest part of this build. I'm gonna try my best to make this thing out of a single piece of steel. That's why you drill it slow. I'm gonna try to put my own spin on it. I wanna put an American flag and the shape of the Purple Heart medal to honor the men and women who have given all to our country. At least as much work's going into the handle as is going into the blade. It can be a Scottish backsword with an American touch.
Today, my main focus is gonna be on the hilt. To get this hilt going, what I'm gonna need to do is tack the guard and quillions to the blade itself in order to start building the basket around that. I'm very happy with my progress so far. I feel like I have a real good shot. Hopefully it holds up to whatever test they throw at me.
Everything looks great, but I've got one final touch that I want to do to my weapon. I use a little purple, a little gold, and a little silver, and I really brighten up the image of the Purple Heart. She is a beautiful, beautiful sword. What can I test it on? I want to be the first person to hack something up with this thing. It just screams, go out and swing me. But I'm not putting my blade through a rigorous test here. I'm just seeing if the edge is good. So I set up some swim noodles. That'll do.
All right, Bladesmiths. Captain Mad Jack Churchill may have been mad enough to take a backsword into modern combat. But what I want to know is, are your swords mad enough, if called upon, to kill? To that end, I will deliver some killing blows to this ballistics dummy. Billy, you're up first. You ready for this?
I came here to watch you kill and chew bubble gum, and I'm out of bubble gum.
All right, let's do this. All right, Billy. First up, I really like the way the Damascus pattern shows in your sword. Now, your handle, it's comfortable. There are no hot spots. Every cut you do with this blade is sharp enough to cut deeply. Overall, your weapon will kill.
Thank you very much.
All right, Robert, your turn, sir. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's do this. I will not be denied. All right, Robert, let's talk about your backsword here. The tip, very pointy, thrust in easily, cuts on the way out. Your handle here, it's loose. It's really wiggling in my hand. But overall, sir, your backsword will Keal.
Thank you.
Bladesmiths, welcome to the strength test. Today, I'm gonna take your swords and I'm gonna clear a path through this big block of ice. I don't really care what your swords do to the ice. I wanna see what the ice does to your swords. Billy, you look ready to be first.
Jay, I was born ready.
There we go.
The ice block is brutal. It can chip the edge of a blade. It can break a blade. I'm a little nervous going into this. Nothing left to it but to do it.
Billy, nice job.
Thank you.
I'm sure you could see when I was striking that, the blade flexed all over the place and came right back to where it was in the beginning. Everything's tight. Nice job.
Thank you very much.
Robert, how you feeling?
I'm ready.
Good, I'm ready too. Let's do it.
I'd be lying if I said I'm not nervous right now. A sword isn't made to hit a block of ice. When two hard things hit each other like that, something's got to give. Hopefully the ice gives more than what my sword gives. Oh no. I really don't know what to think right now.
This right here is where it hurts. It feels like something pulled.
Watching Jay scream out in pain like that, I feel that pain as well.
It's kind of catching me a little bit back here.
I hate that something that I did caused pain to another person.
Plus it's loose.
I see Jay stepping off the testing floor. I'm pretty sure this is it. This is it for me.
Bladesmiths, in any one of our finale competitions, the way that you design those blades to perform in our challenges is always taken into consideration. And Robert, unfortunately, your weapon has hurt our user so severely that we had to send him to the emergency room. Your weapon has been given a vote of no confidence and cannot move forward in testing. And for that reason, I have to ask you to please leave the forge.
First and foremost, I hope that Jay doesn't suffer any long-term effects of this injury. I took my time making sure that everything was safe on this blade. So to find out that I missed something, it's kind of devastating, you know? I know that I'm able to compete with some of the best bladesmiths here in the world. I know that this is my place, this is my calling in life. I'm certainly not gonna stop. I'm gonna keep pushing forward. I'm gonna get better at what I do. This is just another rung in the ladder to success.
Billy, your blade is sharp, deadly, and strong, and you are the Forged in Fire champion, and that is a title that comes with a check for $10,000. Good job, brother.
Woo! I'm the Forged in Fire champion. This is awesome. This has been an amazing experience, and I'm very blessed and honored to have been a part of it.